Karoline Leavitt admits to the whole thing. Oopsie, what's a little war crime between friends? This is a reminder of why they are supposed to refuse illegal orders after denying it, after attacking the media who reported it as fake, after attacking the Washington Post as liars. It turns out that, yes, the Trump administration did order a second strike on survivors in the water off the coast of South America after they had already been bombed into the water. A war crime. They switched overnight from it didn't happen to it did happen to damn right it happened, and it was patriotic and it was legal. Here is Karoline Leavitt defending the by the way, they found Admiral Bradley to try to blame all of this on. Admiral Bradley better get himself a lawyer. Here's Karoline Leavitt saying Admiral Bradley did order the second strike of the boat passengers who were in the water after the destruction of the boat. And he had every legal right to do it.
So that's why you've seen a drastic difference in this administration's policy with respect to the last. And it's one of the many reasons the American public reelected this president and support this Secretary of War in conducting these strikes.
So to be clear, to clarify, Admiral Bradley was the one who gave that order for a second strike.
And he was well within his authority to do so.
And a separate question, the president several days ago said it was his intention.
Right. He did it, and he did it beautifully, and he did it patriotically. Now, remember that just yesterday it didn't happen. Remember, this is Exhibit A from Donald Trump. No, he didn't do it, and he so strongly didn't do it that I don't even have to think about this.
Can you talk a little bit about the strikes and the controversy around the Secretary of Defense? He said,
I don't know anything about it. He said he did not say that, and I believe him.
you don't know if there was
You never read the two men?
the second strike to kill the two men.
He said he didn't do it. He said he never said it.
Would you be okay with that if he did?
He said he didn't do it, so I don't have to make that decision.
He didn't do it. Hegseth didn't do it, except now we know that Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to do it. Trump Exhibit B from that same interview.
On the Venezuela boat strike, if there were a second strike that killed people, even in the first strike, are you thinking that would be legal?
I don't know that happened. And Pete said he did not want them. He didn't even know what people were talking about. So we'll look into it. But no, I wouldn't have wanted a second strike. The first strike was very legal. It was fine. And if there were two people around, but Pete said that didn't happen.
Does that make you
I have great confidence.
Yep. I have great confidence that I was told the truth, that it didn't happen is the wording that Trump uses. And it turns out it did. Listen, they already got caught lying on this one. 48 hours ago, it didn't happen. 24 hours ago, it did happen, and it was legal, and it was awesome. I don't know that I believe this new version of the story either. Now, by the way, we do have video of Pete Hegseth on Fox News saying he watched the entire thing live. So obviously he knew all along that it had happened. They've all been lying to you. How does that feel?
So the president is sending a message to other cartels, right?
A very clear one. I can tell you that was definitely not artificial intelligence. I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States, trying to poison our country.
Yeah. All along, it was clear this was going to be about who falls on the sword. Who do they blame as it becomes clear that they are committing war crimes? Trump started to position Pete Hegseth to take the blame. Now they figured out maybe it's Admiral Bradley that will do it. It was Admiral Bradley in the cloakroom with the cane who did it, the real clue type stuff. And consider that just days ago, they were tweeting stuff like this. Sean Parnell, for example. We told the Washington Post that this entire narrative was false yesterday. These people just fabricate anonymously sourced stories out of whole cloth. Fake news is the enemy of the people. Turns out the reporting was accurate. It should really make you think twice when they start saying it's fake news. What they might mean is it's real news that is very, very bad for us. Back to Karoline Leavitt. She was asked a clarifying question. Here's how she answered it.
Thank you. Gabe.
Thank you, Caroline. Excuse me. Regarding Venezuela, the president said yesterday that Secretary Hegseth had denied that second strike, the reported second strike on an alleged drug vote on September 2nd, the secretary said to the president that didn't happen. But to clarify, I just wanted you to clear this up. In his social media post, Secretary Hegseth didn't go into details about that strike. He just said U.S. operations in the area were lawful, and he said that the story and media reports were fabricated. So to be clear, does the administration deny that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. And I would just add one more point to remind the American public why these lethal strikes are taking place.
Yeah, okay. Now she's going to go into propaganda about why they're doing it, self-defense and blah, blah, blah. The only problem with all of this is that Admiral Bradley, they are not arguing Admiral Bradley was insubordinate in ordering this strike. And so by definition, Admiral Bradley was operating under the authority of Pete Hegseth. So Hegseth is implicated in this. And there's a growing list of Republicans and Democrats that are saying this appears to be a war crime and it needs to be investigated. You know, you go back to that video of the Democrats who said, you'd better be prepared to refuse illegal orders. This is why military service members should refuse to follow illegal orders, because when the shit hits the fan, they are going to do everything they can to blame you. Trump goes, I don't think Hegseth did it. Hegseth goes, well, it was this Admiral Bradley. First, Trump said he wouldn't have wanted a second strike. Then there wasn't one. And Hegseth definitely didn't order it if there was. And now the White House goes, yeah, okay, the strike happened. Hell yes, it did. And it was legal. And it was Admiral Bradley under the authority, of course, of Pete Hegseth. So we are left to ask, does Trump have no control over the military? Are they simply trying to protect Trump and Hegseth? It stinks more than the surf and turf at Mar-a-Lago. Now, on the legality, Karoline Leavitt was asked about it. You said it was lawful. What law is it that allows you to kill the survivors? And listen to what Karoline says.
Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. Following from Gabe's question, you said that the follow-up strike was lawful. What law is it that allows no survivors?
The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
If it was so legal and so cool, why can't they cite the law that allows this? Because we can cite the law that doesn't. And I'm so sorry to have to break the news to Caroline. Bombing survivors of a boat attack off the coast of another continent does not qualify as self-defense. You can't just cite self-defense and make it so. There are definitions as to what counts as that when a country is taking military action. It was probably not even legal to do the first bombing. It was definitely not legal to bomb the survivors. So the cat is out of the bag. Yes, we did do it. All that fake news reporting, turns out it was true, but it was totally cool and totally legal. What are they going to come up with tomorrow? You've probably heard me mention AG1 before. It's part of my morning routine, just gives my nutrition a daily boost. The team behind AG1 has now created a nighttime option. It's called AGZ. It's just a drink designed to help you unwind before bed and get better rest on the nights that you need it. AGZ is non-habit forming. It's a blend of herbs, adaptogens, and minerals, no melatonin. Each serving provides 250 milligrams of highly bioavailable magnesium. That's over half of your daily value, along with other carefully selected ingredients. The idea here is support relaxation, improve sleep quality. Very simple concept. Just like AG1 helps you get more out of your day, AGZ can help you get more out of your night. If you want a tool you can reach for when you want to calm your body and your mind, recharge, and wake up ready. This could be it. Go to drinkag1.com/Pakman. Get a free frother with your first purchase of AGZ. The link is in the description.